Yeah.
What is up? What is up? Welcome to the NFC East Philly Giants Roundtable, man. This is awesome, man. I can't wait to get into it. Everybody go ahead and introduce yourself. I'm BIRDGANG 31. Salute to everybody in the chat. Let's get it.
You already know who I am, man. It's your boy One Tree Rock. We live from the K tonight. You already. Let's get it.
I'm Football Talk with Benny, do Giants and NFL content on my channel, and I'm doing some live streaming.
Big Blue in the Bronx. My real name is Alex. Live in Brooklyn, despite the name. We'll be at the Philly Giant game this Sunday, so hope to see some of y'all there.
Nice. Going to the game. That's what's up. So let's get into it, guys, man. Both of our teams seem to be going on different directions. But it's still an NFC East battle. You know what I'm saying? Like, the NFC East always have great games, and I don't think it might be too different this week, you know? So tell me, what's going on with the Giants over there? Let me know how you guys feel about your team this year.
You want to start, Benny?
Sure. So, here's the thing with our team right now. There's a lot of big problems with our team. It started off with the injuries, but there's been a lot of problems with it. If you go throughout the roster, throughout the coaching staff, throughout the entire just team in general, lots of problems. But in my opinion, it starts in the front office. You know, the coaching has not been good, and it's definitely showing. Joe Judge has not just struggled with developing his players, but definitely struggled with in-game decisions. We all seen it. We've had a lot of bad decisions as far as play calling and also timeout usage, all that type of stuff. So I think that's what's going wrong there. Then it's the injuries. I don't know what it is, but it's the medical staff. It's the turf. There's rumors about that. If it's just unluckiness, if it's the players that we're not getting healthy players. But we've had a lot of injuries, and even if players are coming back, they're definitely not going to be at 100%, which has definitely been a problem and it's showing. So then the main other thing I wanted to talk about is the trenches for us. I think it's a problem that's struggling. It's the O-line, the defensive line. In my opinion, has to be way better, especially the offensive line. The defensive line, I still would like to be better because I feel like the edge rush, especially besides the Ejiro, has not been good. And the offensive line has been horrible. But yeah, those are the main things going wrong, and it's messing up our team.
Yeah, definitely. I have to agree with Benny on a lot of points. Unfortunately, the injuries have brought out some of the worst problems with this Giants team, and we really didn't have the injuries we had this year last year. Obviously, Saquon Barkley was out last year, and he really hasn't been the same. But other than the injuries, depth has to be there. Dave Gettleman, our general manager, really hasn't done a good job of assessing the trenches. As Benny said, the O-line, we have one player that we could have for the next 10 years. That's Andrew Thomas. He's played really well this season, though he missed a couple of games due to I think it was a foot injury. He went on injury reserve. But, ever since, he had 2 bad snaps against the Bucs. But also, you look on the defensive side of the ball, just no assessment on the edge rushing side. So the Giants, aside from O-line, they have 2 first-round picks next year. Aside from theirs, they have the Bears. So a lot of Giant fans were rooting for the Lions this past Thursday on Thanksgiving. But they have to go out and assess edge as well, and just a lot of problems with this team. I think the philosophy is a major issue. The fact that they built the secondary first before you build the trenches. Before going back a couple of years, they got the quarterback and the running back before they got an offensive line. So it's a lot of backwards building. And with Joe Judge, I personally don't feel he's the future guy. I don't feel Daniel Jones is a future quarterback. I don't feel a lot of the people and players on this team are future pieces. So they have to prove to me within the next 7 games, and it's going to be really hard to do. Freddie Kitchens is more of an aggressive play caller. Giants just fired their offensive coordinator and Jason Garrett. So we'll see what happens. Nothing is going to change big in the next 7 games. I'm not expecting a playoff run, but anything can happen.
Let me ask y'all something real quick. Because to me, I don't really follow the Giants too much. But do y'all feel like firing Jason Garrett was just like a scapegoat tactic? Because I don't feel like Garrett was the problem over there. How y'all feel about that?
Benny?
I have I have like a kind of midway take to that where I think Jason Garrett firing, it wasn't like an escape necessarily, and it wasn't the fix to it, but it also wasn't something that was bad. It was a good decision. So I think he's a big problem. He's definitely not like, he's not even, there's so many problems for the team. He's not even close to like gonna fix everything. So it's a step in the right direction in my opinion, but it's not gonna fix anything. Like the entire coaching staff, besides, it's our entire offensive coaching staff and often, just everything, the offensive line, Joe Judge. I wouldn't say necessarily the defense because you have Patrick Ann there and he's done a good job. But most of the coaching staff has been bad and a lot of the players have been bad and there's just a lot more to it. But it was a step in the right direction.
Yeah, I definitely see where a lot of people can say it's a scapegoat. Us as Giant fans, and really the Twitter community, because that's where a lot of Giant fans go, and that's where I'm very active on, is they're very split. They're very split. A lot are acknowledging the problems of Daniel Jones. A lot are saying it's more on Jason Garrett. To me, I believe Jason Garrett was a big firing. But the problem is there's multiple problems on the offense. The offensive line has been an issue. Daniel Jones played horribly against the Tampa Bay Bucks. He missed Kenny Galladay a couple times, a couple open receivers, missed reads. But the problem with firing Garrett now is that, you can't do anything else because we've got 7 games left in the season. People talking about, you should have fired him on the bye. That's also possible as well, but the Giants had the option to just fire him after the 2020 season. So I don't understand why they waited so long just to pull the trigger on some decisions. There's a lot of decisions the last couple of years as Giants organization inside the front office, inside the board committees, where some say, okay, we got to fire Garrett, or some say we have to keep him, and they're just not pulling the trigger on these decisions, and then the team gets worse, and then they are forced to pull the trigger because the fans are unhappy. So it doesn't make a lot of sense. And the fact that we have obviously upgraded the weapons, Kenny Galladay, Kadarius Toney, even though those guys are injured a lot of the time, the Giants pulled a lot of coaches from the college level. Russ Callaway, I believe, was one of the quarterbacks coach when Joe Burrow was at LSU. Where's the involvement there? So I don't understand possibly what's been going on in the building. Jason Garrett is a good firing. It's a big firing, but it's not going to change anything because of how late they executed it.
Yeah, I agree, man. It's a big problem though for the Giants. It is your quarterback. He got 8, 9 touchdowns, like 7 interceptions. That's horrible numbers right there. I know he missed a few games, but I mean, I don't know, bro. It's like I have a lot of Giants fans that are friends, and they really like try to make a lot of excuses for the dudes. But I was like, it's his 3rd year in the league. He shouldn't be making some of the mistakes he's making right now. And it's like, if he's not able to use his legs, he's not a good pocket passer. He really gets skittish in the pocket. I mean, I see a lot of flaws in Daniel Jones' game, but I mean, if y'all rocking with him, that's your team. I mean, we love it. Keep donating to us, man. We love it.
On my show, we call him Daddy Food Stamps because they ain't worth a dime. You know what I'm saying? Like that guy's. I'm not a hater, but at the same time, he doesn't show me much as a quarterback. You know what I'm saying? Like he definitely needs to improve. Like though, your offensive line's really bad. You know what I'm saying? That is another reason why I think those two things, the offensive line not being very good and the fact that Saquon Barkley cannot stay healthy are 2 reasons why Daniel Jones struggles. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody knows the run game is what helps out those young quarterbacks, helps get them in the rhythm of the game. If you don't have a good line, you can't do that. And it seems like you guys have been struggling with a good offensive line for the last, at least 5 seasons that I know of for sure. You know what I'm saying? You guys haven't really had that solid offensive line up there. And then Saquon Barkley hasn't been healthy since his rookie year. So it's like those 2 things I think is a big factor of, slowing down Daniel Jones' progression. But at the same time, man, I'm not a big fan of him. I don't think was ever really set to be that world leader. And I definitely don't think, he should have been drafted as high as he was.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing with Daniel Jones. I don't know if he's the guy, and right now I don't think he is the guy. But I do think some people, I'm not saying you guys because you guys really haven't, but there definitely are a lot of people on Twitter I've seen way overreacting about this past game. Because a lot of the games, Daniel Jones has been the guy that's like, okay, he's actually playing really well and he's not getting any help, especially from the offensive line and a little bit from receivers, depends on the game. But I feel like Daniel Jones. It doesn't look like he's the guy because my problem with him is when I look at a quarterback, you don't want to just look at like, oh, how good are they playing. You want to look at their potential, and I just don't see a Super Bowl winning quarterback in Daniel Jones right now. And I know a lot of people say Eli Manning had the same type of career where he wasn't exactly always never he never really was like to a lot of people like a top 5 quarterback or anything like that in the league. A lot of people consider him to do that. And people said Daniel Jones can be the same thing, but I don't know. I don't know if it's going to happen. He was obviously overdrafted. He shouldn't have been the 6th overall pick. And I do want to keep him for one more year, and that's for like a couple main reasons. One, that the quarterback draft I do not trust at all. Two, even if there was a good quarterback draft, our offensive line is horrible. I'm not throwing a rookie quarterback into this situation again. And then, 3, also I would keep him. There's no reason to bring in a bridge quarterback. It's not like we're paying Daniel Jones a lot of money or he's in some toxic relationship with us. So you might as well just keep him as he has potential still, I guess. But I think we just got to focus on building up the offensive line, the defensive line this year, because I don't see a reason to draft a quarterback. Because if you draft a quarterback, it's honestly doing it all over again, what you just did last time, which is, not have a stable team and rush it because the fans are frustrated, and also on top of that, also this would be a lot like that year because that was considered to be a bad quarterback draft class. Let's be honest, like Kyler Murray ended up like at some point, climbing up the boards and becoming a good quarterback, but that's a bad quarterback draft class. Other than Kyler Murray, everybody's been horrible, and you got Wayne Haskins, you have Drew Lock. Like it has not been a good quarterback class. So just be doing it again, in my opinion.
I agree.
Yeah, I can definitely see Benny's point. There's a lot of ways to go with Daniel Jones. The Giants have really put themselves in a bad situation where, their lack of investment in weapons until this year and the offensive line has hurt both Saquon Barkley and Daniel Jones' careers. Personally, even before this season, I always thought that Saquon was Eli's running back rather than Daniel Jones' running back because Saquon was drafted for Eli, and I feel like for some reason they have a better connection, but that's just me. In this draft, you really are tied. Even if you're like a prospect, those first 2 picks, they have to go towards the trenches, which is a position, as I said, the Giants have been neglecting for years. Also, offensive line. How do you not pick, a stud offensive lineman within the first couple of picks? And the O-line's not going to be rebuilt in 1 year. It's just not going to happen because the Giants don't have, how many top picks to do that. They're not like some of these other rebuilding teams where they have that, even though they do have 10 draft picks. And, Dave Gettleman also spent a 3rd round and a 5th round pick on a tackle and a guard. And in the NFL, you don't see these days that, a 3rd round pick and a 5th round pick, they're immediate starters. That's the problem. The developmental picks are not working. So personally, in my opinion, I sort of like one quarterback in this draft. That's Kenny Pickett. Matt Corral also just completed a 10-win season for Ole Miss. So that's something to look at, but he's probably going 1st, 2nd overall. And once again, even if you do select the quarterback, you're taking away from one of the positions that the Giants have been neglecting for the longest time. Yeah. And you're going to be putting that rookie quarterback in a position not to succeed in his 1st or 2nd year because that O-line is not fully built. The team is not really on the right path. Giving Daniel Jones a 4th year, in my opinion, is not bad, though I don't see him as a future quarterback. Have him as a bridge QB, CJ Stroud or Bryce Young from Alabama, 2023. That's what you got to look at for right now. But getting in another bridge QB seems pointless because you're paying DJ nothing. But I would put an offensive line around him next year, or at least try to, and then see where you go from there. But other than that, if the Giants have 2 more wins this season, you got to fully rebuild the thing.
And what about with Saquon?
Saquon, he's not himself. He's an average player, and it hurts me. Even though I didn't want Saquon at the time, to be honest, I wanted Josh Allen, but that's not really something I want to be right on. Saquon Barkley has been neglected his whole Giants career because obviously he was a stud player coming out of college. His first year, he didn't have an offensive line, but had like 2,000 scrimmage yards. But the next year, he was dealing with a rookie quarterback, the ankle injury, which they brought him too fast back from, and then another bad offensive line in 2020 with the ACL injury. He's been riddled by injuries, and obviously that is also because of the fact that, he's a good player, but as you get better at the game, just as, humans, I would say, evolve, injuries are more of a high risk. So that's the story with Saquon Barkley. And, will he go somewhere else and succeed? I don't know, but I don't think the Giants should even consider giving him a second contract. He does not deserve it.
Yeah. Big risk, big reward with Saquon. It's like, I mean, I'm a Penn State fan, so I've been watching him since high school. He always been the big physical explosive back, but he always had those little nagging injuries. And now since he got to the NFL, he's been having serious injuries. So it's like, I mean, maybe if he go to another team, but I don't think that's really going to help him, man. It's just he's too big to be putting all that torque on them ligaments, man. They're going to keep giving up on him. So, I mean,
all the wear and tear in college, really.
Yeah, I'm not going to say
we got the better out of the two in terms of Miles Sanders didn't get that many carries like Saquon did in college. I heard like Saquon was having like 300 carries per year, you know what I'm saying, type, and that all definitely will, catch up to you once you get into the league. And ever since he got that first injury, it seemed like every single year, kind of like our Brooks, Brooks was healthy throughout his career, and ever since 3 years ago, Brooks has not been able to stay on the field for 1 year since then. You know what I'm saying? It's like once you start piling up those injuries, man, it's kind of hard to stop them. I don't see why you guys would want to keep him. I know I heard a lot of content creators from the Giants say they'd rather see Booker get some more carries and start taking over the role in that offense. How do you guys feel about Booker?
He's fine. He's nothing special, though. Honestly, for now, I would keep giving Saquon the carries. I mean, unless you're worried about his injury, definitely, lower his carries. But if you're not, like, worried about injury, Booker's, like, nothing special. Like, you can sign there's tons of running backs there just because Booker, to be honest. But right now, Saquon does look like it hurts me to say because he's like he just looks like an average player. Like, I was watching him, and it's just like, I see him get the ball, and I'm like, dude, what are these running backs that people are picking up? And, like, I see these running backs people are picking up in the 7th round and $2 million for him to see running, like, better than him and running stronger than him or being faster than him. It's like, this is just, like, crazy. Like, I don't know, it's just his downfall. He just looks like an average player. Like, there's nothing special about him, which, just definitely hurts. But I don't know, I'm hoping he'll just get back. But it's not looking good for him right now. But, we'll see what happens with Saquon.
Yeah, I mean, these guys that we're on with right now, Benny, they could probably attribute to that because you said, these guys in the 5th, 6th round, they got Kenneth Gainwell.
Exactly, he looks better than Saquon right now.
Right. But one of the issues with Saquon not looking good this year, in my opinion, obviously the O-line's a factor, his injuries. But the problem is that Jason Garrett, when he was here, he was running him straight up the middle. That's Booker's forte. And, Saquon's more of out of the shotgun, screen passes, as a wide receiver on occasion, which Pat Shermer neglected not to use him. Jason Garrett, obviously that one game against the Saints, that's all you needed to see to know what Saquon's good at least in this stage of his career. But it's just one game, and the problem with why, being the reason that why Garrett got fired is he was never consistent. Everything seemed to work in that Saints game, but really the game plan never duplicated itself against worse defenses or better defenses. But just the problem with Barkley, though, is like, they're not running at him out of shotgun. They're not using him in screens. They're not using him as a wide receiver. They're using him up the middle like he's some smash mouth running back. That's Booker's forte. They're also not using. I do agree with the comment though. Yeah, they could have kept Corey Clement, who's now with the Cowboys, former Eagles running back. But also to answer another question that I saw, what's up with Nate Solder? Well, from what I've heard from Eagle fans, they're not particularly happy with Derek Barnett. Now, I don't know if he's going to be on his side this weekend, but Nate Solder's horrible. And we're talking about stubbornness. We were talking about the coaching staff earlier in this, me and Benny specifically. Nate Solder, he came back this year after a year off. I think his kid still has some sort of cancer. Obviously, we're sympathetic to the situation, but when you're on the field, you got to play. Nate Solder is lethargic. He doesn't look the same. And the Giants, they lowered his cap hit, but for some reason he's still playing. And I don't see how our 3rd round pick from last year, Matt Parrott, is actually worse than him. And it's not like the Giants, once again, are making a playoff run. And same thing with Will Hernandez. He hasn't been good either. False start every game, just letting guys get beat by him. So that's where a lot of Giant fans come out and say, put Isaiah Wilson at right guard and then put Matt Parrott at right tackle and see what you have, because, you know, next year is going to be another Joe Judge year, and you're not going to be making the playoffs this year.
So, in your opinion, is Joe Judge on the hot seat?
I don't think so.
Really?
Unfortunately.
Wow. See, I was saying this earlier. I would want him to be fired because I think we should blow it up. I think we should just get rid of Gettleman, get rid of Judge. I would love to keep Patrick Graham, but there's no way he's staying with George coming out and stuff. They're just gonna bring in their own guys. Yeah, just blow it up. But right now, I don't know. I could see the Giants bringing it back another year, which is gonna be really bad. It's gonna be bad. It's gonna be painful. Joe Judge, he tricked us so much because the Giants fans, like, I don't know if you guys remember, like, the Giants fans were like, okay with Pat Shermer. Giants fans like loved Joe Judge. Like, everybody loves him so much. Like, I remember, I don't know if like just this past draft class. Remember, we drafted Aaron Robinson, that cornerback, and I was like super mad because I'm like, how did we not draft the offensive lineman? We haven't drafted an offensive lineman yet this draft class. We didn't even end up drafting an offensive lineman at all. And I'm like, we trade up for a cornerback. And I was upset at the pick, especially because, we've had a lot of faith in our cornerbacks. We had one of the best secondaries last year. And it's been okay this year. It's been interesting. It's been on and off good. But it was definitely not our biggest need. And I was like, offensive line is definitely a need. And I went into this live stream and everybody's like, oh, no, have trust in Joe Judge. Like everyone's like, yeah, Joe Judge. He knows what he's doing. Just be calm, man. And it's like, yeah, look at the offensive line now. Everybody trusted him so much. I think sometimes, I think a reason we got tricked and a lot of Giants fans believed, including me, that we were going to be good is because we believed Joe Judge, and he had shown results the prior year, he had definitely improved throughout the year, and it just, it made people believe that he was going to be able to fix parts of the team that clearly weren't right.
Yeah, I could definitely see Benny's point. I mean, if you want my honest opinion, I would blow it up. There's really no point in keeping Joe Judge because the Giants the last couple of years have had an off timeline where I could kind of compare it to the Jets. That's an unfortunate part, but this is where we are as Giants fans. There's definitely going to be the thing of Dave Gettleman, the general manager, getting fired after this year. But there's no timeline that's consistent. Joe Judge is, in my opinion, safe with John Mara, and John Mara is probably going to trust him, and then new GM, and then what if Judge doesn't work out? It's going to be a cycle. It's going to be a circus. But a lot of people were, including myself, were impressed with Judge last year because of the team getting better late in the year, and also because of his press conference. He said everything that Giants fans, I guess, wanted to hear. But this year, it just hasn't been with an upgraded roster, and some of the aspects, you can't really blame our general manager for, like the secondary and the defense at the beginning of the year playing badly. You can't blame that on Dave Gettleman. You can blame that on Judge and Patrick Graham, their conservatism, keeping everything in front. You have to play aggressive sometimes. Those are the type of corners that Adoree Jackson and James Bradbury are. And one of the points that a fellow content creator brought up this week in their Eagles-Giants preview is Patrick Graham needs to let these guys play aggressive and not the too high safety, but stack the box because Jalen Hurts and the running game for the Eagles is a threat. And if you keep doing the too high safety and the zone and all that stuff, I mean, it's just not going to work. The Eagles are going to run all over us.
Yeah. We got a question for you guys. He said, up to this point, which three rookies from the Giants have impressed you the most? And it's for both of you guys.
Ooh, this is tough. We have two rookies here that I'm really impressive. I think. I think, Max, you want to go first? I gotta make my decision on two guys.
Yeah, sure. Even though streaky, I do like Azeez Ojulari. He's not a number one edge rusher like you have the Bosa brothers and Khalil Mack and all those other guys, but he is definitely a number two pass rusher and someone you could build around. So I'm definitely impressed by him. Number two, I would say in his limited snaps, Aaron Robinson. He seemed to play well in the slot, and that was really what he was drafted for. He was drafted, in my opinion, to replace Darnay Holmes because Darnay Holmes really could never Though, he didn't give up a touchdown last year, which is like a record or something. It's like a recorded stat, this many snaps without giving up a touchdown. He wasn't really consistent as a slot corner, and the Giants, what I'm guessing is, Aaron Robinson's a good tackler. He's a box guy, but also can play man coverage. So that's why they drafted him. But as he gets more snaps, I'm really excited to see what he does down the stretch. And number 3, I would say Quincy Rochet, even though he's not technically a drafted rookie. We picked him up from the Steelers. I would say Kadarius Toney when he's healthy on the field, when he's being utilized, because unlike Saquon Barkley, and I know Saquon's been in the league for a couple of years, Toney's a fresh set of legs. In that Saints game, when he was attempted to being tackled, there was like one play which was like a slant going to the left side, and he was just not going down. So when he's healthy, that's what he could produce. When he's utilized, that's what he could produce, which is once again a shame because he cannot stay healthy. He's probably not going to play Sunday. So once again, very very disappointing, but once again, I am impressed with his talent and what he has shown on the field when he is healthy.
I love Kadarius Toney, man. I watched him coming out of college. Dude, shifty as heck, man. He's shifty as heck. He could make dudes miss in the phone booth. I mean, maybe firing Jason Garrett was probably the best thing because now Freddie Kitchens, we know one thing about Freddie Kitchens. He's going to give his dogs the football. He's going to give them the football. I wouldn't be surprised I see Saquon Barkley touch the ball like 30 times this game. So, I feel like y'all kind of, and it's scary when dudes change offensive coordinators like mid-season because now the new offensive coordinators, they basically go all the way deep into the playbook. So they going to give you everything. They going to give you the screens, the reverses, the flea flickers, everything. You're going to have to watch out for everything. So, I feel like this game could be a little bit of a trap game, could be a little dangerous. So, hopefully I'm wrong with the Freddie Kitchens thing, but for y'all's sake, it's a good thing if I'm wrong.
And I heard Judge is going to be calling the play
Judge
calls
calling
too.
the plays? I thought it was Kitchens that was calling the plays.
Really?
Judge is a special teams guy, so I personally highly doubt that he's going to call the plays. Maybe they have. I don't think he's fooling anybody. They do these things, these pseudo things, where just for example, the injury report, right? They have Saquon questionable every game. He plays every game, unless we hear something in practice. Freddie Kitchens, in my opinion, is going to call the plays, and if he's not calling the plays, he's going to share the opportunity with somebody like Russ Callaway. I personally don't see Judge calling the plays. I think he's just going to oversee the team, which is one of the things, honestly, that I have to give him, even though he's a special teams coach, is because you got guys in the past, like I think Sirianni calls the plays for you guys, even though you guys have been successful lately, so that doesn't really go to my point. But you have guys like Matt Nagy, Pat Shurmur, Adam Gase, when he was a coach of the Jets, they were not overseeing the team. They were calling the offensive plays, or, for like Todd Bowles, they were calling the defensive plays. So they couldn't see the team. They couldn't see the other side of the football, where Joe Judge can do that and make the improvements needed. So that's one thing I've been impressed with him, but I think it's going to be Kitchens calling the plays. I don't think he's fooling anybody.
Right. Yeah.
What was your 3 rookies?
Oh, my 3 rookies, I would say number 1 is going to be Kadarius Toney for me. Just because of Kadarius Toney's potential he's shown. He's shown potential, like when we get him the ball, when he's been healthy, even going up against like number 1 corners, that type of stuff, going up against good defenses with good tackling players. He's showed him being absolutely dominant. So I think in the future he could definitely just be an absolute beast of a receiver, and I'm excited for him. Number 2 is Azeez Ojulari. I would have him at number 1. He's shown more production, I feel like, but he doesn't have the potential, in my opinion, of Azeez. And he also, although he has a lot of sacks, he has to watch out because I feel like he's still kind of inconsistent in the fact that he doesn't get many pressure. Like, I feel like most of the games he might have 1 or 2 nice pressures, and then he gets a sack. But he's kind of quiet throughout a lot of the game. I still like him a lot more than all of our other edge rushers, though. And then 3, I have Quincy Rochet, who technically wasn't even our draft pick. He was undrafted. No, he actually was a UDFA to Pittsburgh, I believe, and then we signed him, or was he? Yeah. Where did he go in the 7th? Do you know?
He went in like the 6th or 7th round, but
that's
either
what
way.
he was. Yeah. So but anyway, the Pittsburgh caught him, and then he went to us. And yeah, Quincy Rochet, he's been really good actually. He showed a lot of talent. I don't know if he's the guy. I would like him a lot, but Azeez, I feel like, is kind of locked as our number 2 guy, and we need the elite guy. So I don't know where Quincy Rochet, if he'll ever get a starting role, but he's shown a lot of promise. Especially, he had one game-winning play for us against the Raiders. So
Nice.
that's
We got another question. It says 3 keys of winning the game versus the Eagles, 3 keys of winning the game versus the Giants. So we'll let you guys go first, since you guys are the home team.
okay. I guess I'll start this one out. The first key is just good play in the trenches. I feel like we gotta at least hold. We're not gonna be dominant. We know that, and you guys have been really good in the trenches. So, look, we're not gonna be dominant, but we gotta hold our ground. At least give Dan sometimes to make quick throws and stuff like that, and play better. It really can't get much worse than we did last time with what's his name? Yeah, Will Hernandez. He had like one of the worst. I think the worst PFF grade I've ever seen in my life. But he was just horrible last game. He's been not that bad. He's been bad, but not close to that bad. But yeah, that's the number one thing for sure. The number 2 thing is involving our playmakers. Now, I know a lot of them aren't going to be there, but if we can involve, Kenny Galladay and Saquon Barkley and figure out a way to get them going, it will definitely help the team a lot. I feel like it'll help Daniel Jones a lot. And if we could get them rolling, who knows? Maybe they can have some good games. And then I think the number 3 thing is to, like Big Blue in the Bronx said earlier, Alex, to stack the box a little more than we had been earlier, because you guys have been a good running team, and with Jalen Hurts, I think we gotta play some more guys up there, and my goal is to not let you guys do the easy stuff. I don't want to let you guys just like dump it off and run the ball on us. Let's at least stop you there and make you beat our cornerbacks and beat Adoree Jackson and James Bradbury, who I do have some trust in too. Not perfect, but I feel like I'd rather you guys beat us there than just running all over us, because we just played 2 safeties the entire game. So those are my 3 things.
To respond to 2 comments in the chat, someone brought up Sean Payton. If he was a free agent candidate for the head coaching job, I'm telling you that he would be the next head coach, not because I want him or anyone else, but because he was with the Giants. Why do you think Jason Garrett was hired? Mara likes him. Mara likes Sean Payton. He likes anyone who's a former Giant. That's just the emotional side of things with Mara. It's not necessarily the greatest all the time. And one more comment. Someone said that, the Giants put up 6 when Freddie Kitchens was the, play caller last, which is true. The Giants scored 6 points against Cleveland last year when Daniel Jones wasn't the quarterback and when, Kitchens was the play caller in a short week. But also you have to take a look at, what the player execution was like. It wasn't great that game. Giants were more aggressive. Also, you have to take a look at upgraded weapons, even though the offensive line isn't great right now. Obviously, he'll use Saquon probably more to the shotgun as we go along. And same thing, you're probably looking at the Giants to force feed the ball to Kenny Galladay. Saquon said in practice today, or Saquon actually said to the press conference in the press conference today, that the offensive coaches gathered around the players and asked them, "Hey, what do you guys like to run?" That's true, and I actually like that, because it's not Jason Garrett where he's just stuck in his own mindset. What was I going to say? Yeah, it is a short week, but also 5 days between the COVID thing last year with the Browns and Kitchens getting it and Jason Garrett getting COVID. But my main point in that Browns thing, before I go to the 3 keys, is that the Giants had the most deep passing attempts of the season in their season. They had, I believe, 15 downfield attempts or something like that. They had the most downfield attempts of their season. And Jason Garrett didn't go downfield. Freddie Kitchens was more aggressive. So that's really what I'm looking forward to seeing with better weapons, Saquon, John Ross, Darius Slayton, Kenny Galladay. But as for my keys to the game, number 1, I think it's going to become a defense. Well, it's not going to become a defensive game, but they got to stop Jalen Hurts in the Ravens light running game, because obviously there's a running back by committee, Miles Sanders. Boston Scott always finds ways to kill us for some reason. 153 yards per game on average. That's second in the league. So the Giants got to stack the box, be aggressive, and kill them there. I personally want Benardrick McKinney to be the number 1 linebacker, but it's not going to happen. Number 2, get Kenny Galladay involved, change the offensive tendencies. A lot of people are saying, well, they're not going to change the playbook. Of course they're not going to change the playbook. They're not going to change the scheme, but the offensive tendencies can change. I just talked about Freddie Kitchens being more aggressive. And number 3, the Giants have had a streak. Actually, no, run the football, use Booker under center, and then Saquon in the shotgun. Got to run the football. I think Eagles defense is one of the bottom in the league in terms of run defense, from what I understand, and also just an extra, extra key to the game. Force a turnover. Eagles are not a team that turns over the ball a lot, and the Giants have a streak going back to last year. They have, I believe, 1 turnover in each game going back to last year. That's 12 games in a row. So hopefully they keep that going. And the last game that the Giants and the Eagles played, it was a clean game. Carson Wentz didn't turn over. Daniel Jones didn't turn it over. So it's either going to be a clean game or one's going to get a turnover each.
Nice. Trey, what do you think about us beat the Giants?
I feel like this the biggest thing. This is my first one. We're going to have to get pressure on Daniel Jones. We're going to have to, man. And when we rush, we're going to have to really control our rush lanes because he can run the football. I mean, he can use his legs once they get out of pressure. And that little 5, you think it's going to be a 5 yards, could turn into 30 that fast. I mean, he can run. So, I mean, I feel like on defense, again, they're just going to have to bring those blitzes, them timely blitzes. We're going to have to play up in their receivers' faces, not give them too much. I mean, give up too much yardage. And on third downs, we just going to have to get them off the field. We're going to have to control. I mean, try to contain Saquon Barkley, man, because all it takes is one missed tackle, and that dude could take it to the crib. So, I mean, other than that, I don't feel like we're going to have to make too many adjustments from the game plan when we play Teddy Bridgewater and dudes like that. We really could treat Daniel Jones that kind of way because he's not a dangerous passer. He can throw the football, but he's not a dangerous passer. So that's one. 2, our defensive line is going to have to, I don't know, bro. They've been pissing me off the last few weeks. I can't even lie, man. They've been pissing me off, missing a lot of sacks, not getting pressure, leaving our defensive backfield out to dry a lot. So I feel like on all 3 levels, they're going to have to come to ball this week, man. The pass rush help out the linebackers and the defensive backs. And number 3, our offensive line just got to keep doing what they're doing, man. Keep running the football. Nick Sirianni, keep running the football. Letting Jalen Hurts play freely, man. Don't try to turn him into a passer. Let him do what he used to doing, man. The dude got damn near double-digit rushing touchdowns, almost 700 rushing yards. So, I mean, we stick to the game plan we stuck to the last 3 weeks. I feel like we'll be fine. Damn, BIRDGANG got kicked out. What's this?
This thing is having some Wi-Fi problems, something like that.
Yeah, but man, on some real, I like Daniel Jones, man. I like him as an athlete, but I don't like him as a quarterback. I mean, I don't feel like he's a good quarterback. Yeah. Jalen Hurts is the same thing for me. He gonna have to, if we gonna make this playoff push, he gonna have to become a better passer. Dudes are gonna. I mean, it's only gonna be so much you can run the football in the playoffs. They're gonna devise schemes to stop that. You're gonna have to beat dudes with your arm eventually. So I mean, I'm looking for Hurts to turn into a better passer, be a little bit more consistent. I mean, I feel like he's doing great at this point of what they're asking him to do right now. But what's gonna happen when teams start stopping the run and they force you to pass the football? I mean, he's gonna have to get better in that aspect of the game. And our schedule is kind of favorable, so this should be where he's working on them kicks out. I mean, if we do make the playoffs, I mean, he didn't already had that experience. So, I mean, I feel like the Giants and the Eagles are basically going in 2 different directions right now. And I mean, hopefully we can make this playoff push.
Yeah. You pretty much said it, man. We need to get that pressure on Daniel Jones and control Saquon Barkley. No matter how bad or good they're doing, those are the 2 main guys on that offense that puts up the points. You know what I'm saying? Daniel Jones passes them and Saquon rushes it. So we need to make sure we're putting that pressure on Daniel Jones often and early. getting our sacks and our defensive line will have to, show up this week. You know what I'm saying? We haven't seen a sack from, I don't think, Fletch or Hargraves in a couple of weeks now. And these boys need to get back on that stat sheet. You know what I'm saying? So, and then on our side, we need to run the ball, man. Just keep doing what you've been doing the last 4 weeks. If it's not broke, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. You know what I'm saying? Like, we are the number one rushing team in the last 4 weeks and 2 overall in the NFL for the season. And that's not even running the ball for the first 6 weeks of the season. So that's really good. And we just need to keep it going. Jalen Hurts, no turnovers again. We keep them turnovers down, the penalties down. Those are 3 things that I think that if we do those 3 things, the sky's the limit. I think we should have an easy win here.
I have a question for you guys. So you guys, this is like not exactly related to the game, but you guys have 3 first-round picks coming up, and your team to me looks pretty complete. What areas would you like to spend this?
Looks could be deceiving, man.
Right.
Looks could be deceiving. Like coming up this year, Stevie Nelson might not be there. Derek Barnett might not be there. Harris might not be there. We got a lot of big decisions to make in the offseason. Even the Miles Sanders thing, man. We don't know if you want to pay the dude, if they want to let him go. I mean, it's a lot of big decisions that have happened in this offseason. And it's not even a guarantee that we're going to have 3 first-round picks, man. Carson still got to do his part. But, I mean, for the most part, I feel like we need more we need better linebacker play. We had through the first 6 weeks, we had the worst linebackers in the NFL. We could not stop a nosebleed. Couldn't stop the run. You're giving up 9-10 yards a pop. We need another edge rusher. We probably gonna need another corner. I feel like we set on the offense. We probably could add another offensive lineman and stuff, but I feel like our first 5 picks should be defensive players, to be honest. Even if we could get up a little higher and where we could get the pass rusher from Oregon, what's his name? Thibodeau. Yeah, Thibodeau. I like him. He a dog, man. I spend 2 of those picks and go up and get a solid pass rusher, if anything.
The edge rush class is good.
We gotta bring some linebacker talent in, man. Either it's through the draft, free agency, anything, but we need a number 2 linebacker because the only solid linebacker we got right now is TJ Edwards. He's the only one that really could do it all, like play all 3 downs. So, I mean, that's how I feel.
Yeah, I think, like you said, I hope that, these teams really get these quarterback needy teams really push their way up early in the draft. You know what I'm saying? Like, we still can get those 3 picks. I do feel like we will get those 3 picks. I think Carson's going to go ahead and play out the season since the Colts are in position. So, with the 3 picks, the only one that's looking like top 10 right now really is the Miami pick. So, with that Miami pick, if we can't get a guy like Thibodeau because he don't get pushed back far enough, go out and get the safety from Notre Dame, Hamilton. Is that his name, Hamilton? Yeah. Hamilton. So that guy's a beast, and he's kind of like a safety linebacker. He can make all the tackles. He can make all the calls. So that would be a good pick. After that, I'm saying we have to get a lineman because we might be losing guys like, Brooks because he doesn't stay healthy. Kelsey might be retiring at the end of this season. Who knows? He always says he's retiring, and it comes down to the end of the season before you find out. So make sure we get a lineman, a top first-round lineman in there somewhere in the first 3 picks. And then with the other pick, we got to get a linebacker. You know what I'm saying? Like, our linebackers game is horrible. Like, we've had some guys that stepped up the last couple of weeks, but even like a guy like Davion Taylor, I'm really high on Davion, but he doesn't stay healthy enough. Every time you see any sparks from Davion, he's back on the sideline with an injury. You know what I'm saying? Like, that don't get you no good. No matter how good you are, if you're not on the field, you're not helping our team out. So I definitely want to go get another stud linebacker, whether that dude from Iowa, what's his name, Linderbaugh or something like that.
Linderbaugh.
Yeah, Linderbaugh. Or, Dean from Georgia is really a beast. You know what I'm saying? I would love to go get Dean and bring him to the squad. That'd be another big guy to get over there. So, yeah, with those first 3 picks, we're going, D-line, offensive line, linebacker. And like I said, work your way from there.
Okay.
Yeah. How about y'all? How y'all? What y'all think y'all top
Yeah, because you guys
needs are?
got two, right? Two
Yeah,
Yeah.
first rounders.
And they
What do you
could
guys
probably
want to
be. They probably could be both top 10, which would be kind of cool. I
Yeah.
mean, just like something
But
to
how
look
y'all?
forward to.
What y'all think y'all biggest needs will be in the draft this upcoming draft?
Probably I have two positions or like two areas of mine, which is offensive line and defensive line. This is really the only two spots I want to go right now. There's no need to really draft another playmaker. There's no need, in my opinion. I already gave my thoughts on why we shouldn't take a quarterback at least this year. As for our defense, I think our defensive backs are fine for now. To be honest, I mean it's not. It might need some work in a year or two, but we gotta worry about the trenches now. I think. And the other thing I maybe would take, I don't know how the linebackers are in this draft class, but maybe the next thing would be like a linebacker, because who knows what's going on with Blake Martinez, and even next to him, I don't really see anybody that I really like right now that much. So.
Yeah, first two, I would definitely go offensive line and edge. Some guy just listed the edge options, and that's something you really can't pass up on if you're any general manager with the way this edge group for the Giants really has produced. I mean, once again, I mentioned, Aziz is doing good, but he's incredibly streaky. I remember the last time he got a sack. I think it was the Panthers game. So it's been a little bit of a while. Other than those two positions, I mean, Giants need reasonably 4 offensive linemen, 4 caliber starters. Our center that went down in week 2, I personally think he's an average center. He's a good center, starts 16 games when he's healthy, but he's a good depth guy, and you can't depend on him after a leg fracture that has how many surgeries. He had I think like 7 surgeries within the first couple of weeks, and that's like an Alex Smith thing.
God damn.
So
he had like a horrible one.
Yeah, you can't possibly bank on him coming back next year. That's why Linderbaum's a good option. Also, as I said, 4 rest of the offensive line besides Andrew Thomas. Benny brought up a good point about linebacker. It's a lose-lose situation because Blake Martinez, you cut him next year, it saves a couple $1 million, but also you would have a big, gigantic hole, and signing somebody in free agency is not going to solve anything real quickly. I mean, it might, but it's not in the long term. But keeping Blake Martinez off of a torn ACL, it's not a great solution to go to. So you probably would have to draft a linebacker as well. And another position that I think another 2 positions in the next couple of years, I think the Giants should go after is safety and tight end. After this year and the way they've neglected Caden Smith in this offense, especially after his rookie year, is just horrible. Evan Ingram, he's not here to stay. A lot of injuries, obviously all the drop passes last year. Kyle Rudolph really hasn't been great. He looks like he's coming out of his prime. Caden Smith, I just mentioned. And then safety. Keep Logan Ryan for another year. Julian Love is a rotational guy. Xavier McKinney looks like the only real safety of the future. So maybe next year in like the 3rd, 4th, 5th round, get a safety, or the year after. It doesn't really matter, but you got to solve all those top needs first.
Yeah. I know Ingram, man. Like, it seems like he's one of those guys where either he's really good or he's dropping passes, you know what I'm saying? Like, but he has potential, he got that speed, he can run routes, you know what I'm saying? Like, I kind of liked Ingram for a while there.
I feel like
we haven't really been targeting Ingram, to be honest, recently. We've kind of like forgot. We used to like really like to target him, and he was struggling, and we just kind of stopped targeting him, which is interesting.
Might have a game this week.
Yeah, I mean, the Eagles linebackers, like you guys said, are definitely, in my opinion, the weakest part of your team. So I would love to target Ingram, but who knows if he's going to make the plays.
The thing that I would watch, though, is, and I have a question afterwards for the Eagle guys on this panel, is obviously we have no Kadarius Toney or Sterling Shepard this week, so our slot guys are gone, which means that Evan Ingram is probably going in the slot. I don't see John Ross, Darius Slayton, or Kenny Galladay going in the slot, so Evan Ingram would likely face up, at least from the way I'm seeing it, would face up against Avonte Maddox, who just earned a big payday. So that would be interesting. And I think that would be the smart thing for Jonathan Gannon to do, is put him up against Avonte Maddox and not a linebacker, because that's how the Eagles would get destroyed. Now, my other question is, I've heard a lot, obviously, about the Eagles' defense. The front 7, the cornerbacks, Darius Slay's having a good year. What do you guys think of the safety group? I haven't heard much on them.
Vontae, I love the safety group, man. Harrison and McLeod been holding it down for the most part. Harris, think he the leading tackler on our team right now. And McLeod just McLeod, sideline to sideline, all over where the football at. we got solid safety play, but we're going to need. This might be Rodney McLeod last season. I mean, the dude had coming off two back-to-back ACL tears. We only got Harris on a 1-year deal. Hopefully, we can re-sign him in the offseason because he's been a solid part of us getting this thing going again. We have young Kayvon Wallace on the bench. We have Epps. I'm actually a big fan of Marcus Epps. He's been balling out since they've been putting him in the game. He's a big hitter. He's always around the football. So maybe he can be one of those guys that fill in for McLeod once he's gone. But we might have to go into the draft and get another safety. Who knows, man? Because Kayvon Wallace haven't really been showing me anything. He's been riding the pond for the most part. He can't stay healthy. He's been playing special teams the last 2 seasons. So, I mean, however they going to get it done, I know McLeod time probably up. I would sign Harris again. I actually probably would bring Steven Nelson back. I'm not even going to lie. I'll bring Steven Nelson back just to sit in front of the young guys we got. McPherson, Godwin, all those guys, and they could just learn from big play and Steven Nelson. And Avonte Magg's been playing like the best the best nickel corner in the NFL, man. He should be a Pro Bowler. So we got solid guys in back of our starters. It's just if one of those guys was to go down, I don't know who I would trust to fill in that role. BIRDGANG. But yeah, I think on some real with the Giants, I think y'all losing. Like, I know this was a while ago, but I think y'all losing Landon Collins hurt y'all a little bit, man, because he was like that. He was like that commander in that backfield. So, how y'all feel about that?
I mean, he was declining as a problem, and he hasn't been good on the Washington football team. So right now, I feel like Jabril Peppers is just the cheaper version of him that's probably been playing even probably better than Landon Collins. Although he didn't play great this year before he got injured. But yeah, Jabril Peppers was pretty good last year, and I don't know. I actually think that was one of the mistakes that people they overreacted to. Although here's a big thing that I still am upset about with Landon Collins. We could have traded him at like the trade deadline for like a 2nd-round pick. But we ended up getting a third. What's it called? What are those called again? I'm blanking now. But we ended up getting
pick.
Yeah, compensatory. That's it. But we ended up getting that. But that's a big difference because people are saying like, oh, that's only 1 round. But at the end of the day, that's 1 round. But compensatory picks are way later in the rounds than what we could have gotten. So that upsets me. But I'm not really mad about Collins.
Yeah. The funny thing is that I actually got a Landon Collins Color Rush jersey for Christmas of 2018, and 3 months later he went to a rival. And I'm gonna take a guess that that was the Color Rush jersey's fault. If I had a regular jersey, I think it would have been way different because the Color Rush jersey, we're 0-6 in Color Rush since the first game we used them, which actually was against the Eagles in 2016, and we lost. So I guess that put our fate out there. But Landon Collins, I mean, I didn't understand at first why they didn't bring him back, but I sort of understood later on. James Betcher, the defensive coordinator before Patrick Graham, was, very stranglehold on his scheme, and it really didn't make much sense because he didn't have the personnel to do all these types of aggressive things, blitz, do all these other things. And especially in his last year with the New York Giants, he got really exposed for not being able to cover running backs and tight ends. And, he's struggling in Washington right now. He got grossly overpaid. But in terms of Jabril Peppers, I think other than maybe his 2019 year, I think he's been a solid safety since he's been here. The problem with the way he played this year is I think he was covering a lot of tight ends, which is something that on occasion he can be good at, something he could also not be good at. Like, he covered Logan Thomas pretty well last year in that second Washington game. But also, for some reason, the Giants, especially Patrick Graham, had him covering Cooper Kupp in the slot against the Rams. And, we got our butt kicked that game, but he's a box safety. And that's the problem with the way they involved him this year is they didn't use him in the box till later, and then he tears his ACL, and then we have to replace him with Julian Love and all these other safeties. But Would I take him back? I don't know because he's coming off an ACL tear, maybe on a 1 year. But it sucks that we lost him. It really does because he's a Jersey guy and he was a locker room leader.
Yeah,
I love Jabril Peppers coming out of college, man. I thought he was gonna be better than he's been in the league so far. But at Michigan, they used him a lot of different ways. He wasn't just relegated to safety. He played the slide. They used to put him in the box. He played deep. They moved him around. He was the rover for their defense. And I felt like if he would have fell into the hands of like a good defensive coordinator, he would have been his career would have been more solid. Like if he would have went to like, say for instance, the Pittsburgh Steelers or like somebody like that, they would have had the dude playing right. But I mean, that's what happened to some dude's career. Just like Landon Collins. I felt like that about Landon Collins. If he would have landed in the right defensive coach hands, I mean, he would have had a better career because everybody knew he wasn't a coverage dude. He one of those dudes you bring in, you put him, I mean, you get him going forward, he rushing the passer, stuff like that. So, I mean, that's the thing with the NFL, man. If you don't land in the right situation, man, your career could go like this fast.
I always thought with Jabril Peppers, and I've been saying for a while now, it doesn't look like he's going to come back. But I always thought, like, if we could get a coverage linebacker, how good Jabril will be. Like, if we could just go good coverage linebacker that we could put on the tight ends, we could let Jabril Peppers do so many more things, play in the box, and he could just cover the running backs. He could blitz more. I mean, he was in training camp, supposedly. He was amazing. He was getting lots of sacks when he was, blitzing and all. And I just feel like he could be such a dynamic player in the box. But unfortunately, we never got anybody close to a good coverage player for tight ends, and it made him do it. And that's not really his thing. But to be fair to the team, for the coaching staff at least, like for people that weren't involved in not getting a linebacker, he's our best option. We're covering tight ends. So, yeah, I mean, this is.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna tail off of that into a little thing here. I definitely, Jabril Peppers, as I mentioned, had his moments of, he's not doing good in coverage. He's doing good in coverage, and I think that forced two things I should say is it forced the defense to do two types of things. Something I would also look, even though Jabril Peppers is not playing on Sunday because of the torn ACL, I would look for James Bradbury or Adoree Jackson, most notably Bradbury, in my opinion, because Adoree Jackson has more speed. I would look for him to be on Dallas Goedert. Quez Watkins, when he catches passes, he's a good deep threat and all this other stuff. But something they did against Kansas City, which is they covered Bradbury. They put Bradbury on Kelsey, and then they put Adoree Jackson on Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill didn't really do that much in the receiving game. Very limited basis, but that has forced the Giants to do two things: either take a corner and cover a tight end with the corner, James Bradbury on Kelsey, James Bradbury on Goddard, whatever the situation may be, or just go into zone where the tight end really doesn't do that much. Like last year, obviously there's the motto of, the last couple of years the Giants have been destroyed by tight ends. You really didn't see that a lot last year. I mean, Richard Rodgers had a decent game against the Giants in the two games that he versed the Giants as the Eagles tight end or one of the Eagles tight ends. But other than that, tight ends really didn't kill the Giants last year because of how passive aggressive they were, how conservative they were, how much zone they played. So they were not getting beat because of bad personnel because they were playing zone. But once again, going back to the original argument, it either forces a cornerback to play on a tight end, or if they don't have that and they have too many weapons to cover on offense, they're going to have to drop into zone and hope for the best.
Yeah, man. I feel the same way about the Eagles, though, because a lot of the time I feel like the best way we can cover teams is to play like up in their face. I mean, the way Gannon, the first 6 weeks, he was giving quarterbacks too much respect, like Patrick Mahomes. I mean, Justin Herbert, he was giving them too much respect. He wasn't blitzing them. It was basically like 7-on-7. So it's like now I feel like he's more like he's getting into his groove as a play caller. Sending timely blitzes. He actually sending corners and stuff like that. It's like, I mean, I've been telling my fan base though the whole time, like, We got to get these dudes sometimes. Mind you, they brought in a whole new coaching staff. They brought in a rookie defensive coordinator, rookie quarterback coach, rookie head coach. Everybody, tight end coach and rookie. It's like the only veteran presence we had in that coaching staff is Stoutland. He's an offensive line coach. So, I mean, we a little deeper into the season. Everything's getting a little bit better. You know, dudes getting out of their stubbornness, and they calling good games now. I'm still a little iffy on our run game because we've been kind of still giving up a lot in the run game. I mean, not like how it was at the beginning, but it'd be like spurts. Like running backs could take over a game for like a little couple series and stuff like that. Then we get our stuff together. But I mean, the way that offense and defense playing, they playing hand in hand right now. We getting dudes off the field. I mean, the offense holding the football, putting it in the end zone, in the red zone. So I feel like we doing way better. Like we got a great formula right now.
Yeah, we're doing good, man. We just got to keep running our rock, keep pounding. And I'm really intrigued to see how Miles Sanders takes the lead role now that Howard's down. You know, I think everybody's expecting Miles to do bad, and I think he's going to really have a great game this week.
Yeah, that's the big thing, though. Losing Jared Howard, that's a big thing, man. That's a big thing. He really been controlling football games for us. Getting like 5-10 yards a pop. I mean, keeping drives alive. You got that 3rd down and 3. You still got the option to run the football with him because you know he's going to fall forward. So, I mean, it's going to be a long day. It's going to be a long day for that Giants defense, man, trying to contain Jalen Hurts all day. I mean, dude, even when you blitz him, if he get out of that pocket, it's lights out. And I feel the same about Daniel Jones. I mean, if you blitz him, you got to get there or he's going to kill you. You got to get there. Because all it takes is one lane to open up. Daniel Jones taking off. He taking off. So,
until he falls over.
Yeah, he's taking off. But I seen it. Remember he ran for that long run on us last year. Because dudes weren't playing their lanes and wasn't containing. So it's going to be a close game. It's going to be a close game, man. People think there's a lot of Eagles fans that think, we're going to go up there and just blow y'all out. I don't think it's going to be that. It's going to be a close game all the way up until the end.
No, I definitely agree. And I would actually at points, I would actually disagree with what you said about Daniel Jones because I feel like, obviously, and I'll actually compliment the Eagles on one thing, though I don't really like to give the Eagles a ton of compliments. Whether it's playoffs, whether it's, an average record or something like that, other than last year, they've been able to keep a solid offensive line, whether it's this guy coming out, this guy coming in, whatever. So I'll give you guys credit with that. But in terms of Daniel Jones, I mean, there was a lot of hype coming off of that Washington game because he had 344 scrimmage yards combined passing and running. But, I just feel like within the last couple of weeks, I don't feel the same about him running. Obviously, once again, the bad offensive line plays into it, but Jalen Hurts is made more for the running game. And, hopefully for your guys' sake, not ours, he can pass, whatever. But I just feel like Jalen Hurts is more of an established runner where he knows how to scramble, where Daniel Jones really does not, he's not a fit scrambler. And sometimes he, doesn't do things for his own good. But hopefully he could get better at that, which is one of the things he will need to do, even if he does have a solid offensive line in the future and when he gets pressured.
Yeah, Daniel Jones loves to put himself in dangerous positions when he's running. He needs to actually work on that, though. In all seriousness, though, somebody's got to teach him. We all know he's not his main thing never has been really running, but he's shown his speed and his actual pure talent with it. But I feel like he needs somebody to come and show him, because when you watch guys like Jalen Hurts, Lamar Jackson, Kyler Murray, not even just super good running quarterbacks. Sorry, but even just guys like Patrick Mahomes, they know how to move themselves so they're not going to have to take big hits and they're going to be able to get first downs and all that type of stuff without having to take big hits and diving and sliding into weird situations and all. So I think Daniel Jones needs to definitely work on that. I mean, he keeps on having problems. He got banged up in the one game. He sort of had a concussion because of running, and he keeps on diving. So it's actually something smaller that like another small thing where I'm like, what is the coaching staff doing? Like, is there nobody that can teach him just like how to like that's the job for the I don't know who are quarterback coaches, but like that's their job to teach the quarterbacks whatever they need to know that they didn't learn in college. So yeah, hopefully somebody teaches them that. But honestly, if somebody teaches him that, he could be a really dangerous like running quarterback for the fact that teams are always going to forget just because of the fact that it's not his main thing. They're always going to forget about it. And it will be an asset I wish he kind of used more, not in design runs necessarily, but just on like third downs and stuff like that, where it's like 3rd and 6 and there's no linebackers in that way.
Yeah, I do agree with Benny there. And the phrase about Daniel Jones that I keep harping on, and a lot of people keep harping on, is, well, he tries to do too much. Like last year, one of the more, I would say, pressed examples is that in that Rams game when the Giants were down, I believe, 8 points, it was 17-9 within the fourth quarter, like 140 left to go. He throws the interception. Meanwhile, he had, a little bit of a lane to run. So he tries to do too much. And as Peyton Manning said, the most important play is the next play.
Yeah.
So, just live another down. Don't try to do everything in one play. Giants upgraded weapons around you at least, for them to make plays, and then, just put it in their hands as well, not just yours.
We got a question for y'all. How did y'all become Giants fans?
Us. Okay, so I'm from Philly, but my dad is from New Jersey, so he's always been a Giants fan, him and my grandma, so that's how I've become.
Yeah, well, I mean, I was born in Brooklyn. I mean, obviously I'm here now. I actually I lived 12 years in Pennsylvania myself, so I got a pretty high dosage of Eagles fans. I lived about 2 hours north of Philly, I believe. Yeah, 2 hours north of Philly in around the Poconos area, and I had to deal with Eagle fans and all that stuff. But it was pretty weird for me, and a lot of people, ask, how did you become a Giants fan? Because my entire family is Jet fans. So obviously, I made the right decision in what New York football team I want to pick.
Thanks, though. I would not want to be a Jets fan.
Yeah. And then, being in PA surrounded by, I mean, personally, I obviously watched the Super Bowl 46, but I didn't really get into football until like 2015, 2016. And then, once we beat the Eagles in 2016, I could start talking a little trash, but obviously that was put to an end very shortly.
I know. Normally on these streams, you'd be like talking trash and all, but I can't defend the Giants at all at this point. They're horrible. So we have nothing
make
to
it hard to talk trash when your team.
I know.
Suck, man.
It makes it really hard, especially when there's like you guys have like so much better of a future for us also. So I can't even pull like the thing like, oh, well, we have the good future. Like the only thing to go to is like the past, which is.
I mean, y'all got good key players, though. I mean, if y'all could if you could get a resurgence from a Saquon Barkley, Ingram was supposed to be one of them generational tight ends, man. The dude you could put him anywhere on the field. So maybe y'all bring a guy in the offensive coordinator, something like that can actually put these dudes in position to make plays. Who knows? I mean, who knows? Y'all get your offensive line together. I mean, I love it when the Giants good. I love it when they're good, man, because these matchups be a little bit more funner.
Yeah.
It's like, actually, let's do that then. I know y'all not Eagles fans, we not Giants fans, but you always had those players that like when you see them, you just like, damn, I love to watch this dude play if they're not playing against my team. I got 3 of them for y'all right off the bat. Michael Strahan, Tiki Barber, who my last one? I gotta go Odell. I love watching them dudes play, man. But I hate it when they played against us, man.
My 3 was Plesko Burress, Jeremy Shockey, and Lawrence Taylor.
Okay, my 3 for you guys. It's gonna be newer style, but okay, the 3 for you guys is First off, I love watching Darius Slay play. I liked him since he was in the Lions a few years ago, but he's an absolute beast. I like Miles Sanders a lot also, even though he's been like a little iffy recently, I feel like, but he's a Nittany Lion and I like the Nittany Lions, so I like him a lot. And then the third guy, I think I'm gonna have to take Zach Ertz, although he's not on the team anymore. I've always been a Zach Ertz guy. Yeah, he's a beast.
Yeah, I'm gonna do a little bit of a mix of old and new. I mean, obviously, for the past couple of years, or for before the Eagles actually got Wentz and all the other quarterbacks, Michael Vick is obviously there. Number 2, I would have to go with Zach Ertz as well, because he was always that Giants killer. No matter, he was when the Giants still had a good team then in 2016, and they had this good defense. He still managed to tear up the Giants, and that game came down to the wire. I think the final score was like 28-23. But he's a player I admire, because the Giants really haven't had that tight end. Evan Ingram was supposed to be a receiving threat, but injuries and dropping passes and stuff like that. And then number 3, I'm gonna have to go with either Jason Peters or Jason Kelce, because Giant fans obviously admire, just offensive linemen, generational talent, whether it's, actually generational talent, or is it's, the offensive lineman's there for 10, 15 years. And Jason Peters, before he went to Chicago, was with the Eagles for, I think, 10, 11 years. And then Jason Kelce's been with the Eagles for some time of a while now. And the Giants fans, including me, just slob at good offensive linemen like that, even still playing good now. So I would have to, I think I'm going to go with Jason Kelce here and just admire him, because, well, when was the last time the Giants had a cornerstone offensive lineman? I mean, Andrew Thomas is one. Giants don't have 4 others.
I like Andrew Thomas. I like him. He's solid. Go ahead, Benny.
I've always liked Kelce, though. Fun fact about Kelce, I actually met him. He lives right near me, so I actually I met him.
What?
Yeah, walking to the barber, I just met him. I was like, oh, that's cool. So,
He's
a really fun guy, actually. He's really
fun. We got some Eagle fans that would love to have him on the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, but before we wrap this up, though, we're gonna give our score prediction and how you feel this game gonna go. We're gonna start with Benny.
What? Oh, what score prediction you said?
Yeah, score predictions.
Okay, I think it's going to be close throughout the entire game, but at the end of the day, I think the Eagles come out 30-26. I think both teams do pretty good on offense. I think the Eagles tend to get their way a little more than the Giants, which, gets them the win. But I don't think the Giants are going to struggle like we have in the past with the offense. I think we're going to, it might not carry out through the rest of the season, but I do think with the new offensive coordinator, might throw the Eagles off a little bit, especially at the beginning, and we might be able to get some points on the board. But I think the Eagles pull it out.
Yeah, I'm actually going to take. It somewhat pains me to do it. Well, it doesn't pain me to do it, because obviously you'll see the result in just a second. I'm going to pick my Giants 26-21.
I like
it's
it.
tough for me to say that on a realistic standpoint.
I like it
because the Giants never win in Color Rush, but there's a lot of things that are possibly going for the Giants this week. Obviously, the Giants didn't win enough games last year. And I feel like there's a couple of players still on this team that are a little pissed about that, even though it was their own fault last year. They didn't win enough games, and the Eagles obviously dropped that game against Washington, so they may be a little pissed about that. They're looking to play spoiler on the Eagles because they've won, I believe, 3 straight. Dallas just lost, so the Eagles are obviously coming into this game wanting to get a bigger inch in the NFC East. Coming off of a blowout, they obviously want a closer game. They want to win. It's kind of something like they did against the Rams, and then they got blown out. And then Carolina, they won that game. They pretty much blew Carolina out of the water. And then also as well, Kenny Galladay, Evan Ingram, and Saquon Barkley, I'm looking for at least one of them to ball out on offense, because, well, they really haven't gotten their opportunities. Evan Ingram has been phased out. Kenny Galladay has had like 1 to 2 targets a game, and he's really not happy with the state of the Giants right now. But with what I said earlier about Saquon saying that, oh, well, the offensive coaches approached us and said, what plays do you like to run? So that actually shows me that the other coaches, Jason Garrett's not in the building anymore, the coaches actually want to prioritize their players and put their players first before the scheme. So that's where I think the momentum comes in. Everything else, Giants win 26-21, weird score. And I will be in section 202B, but I'll be there very early. I'm going to be tailgating early around 9 a.m.
Yeah, man, I'm gonna have to go. I'm gonna have to take my birds in this one, man. But like I said, I feel like it's gonna be a closer game than people think. I feel like it's gonna be 27-24 Eagles. Eagles win on the last game-winning field goal by my guy. We got one of the best field goal kickers in the NFL, man. I just wanted y'all to know that. But I mean, I feel like it's gonna be a good game. It's gonna be physical, hard-fought game, man. Daniel Jones gonna show up to play. Hurts gonna show up to play, man. It's gonna be a good evening, man.
Yeah, I got the Eagles blowing them out. And not even no disrespect. I just feel like our trajectory right now is going skyrocket up right now. And we know we want to go to the playoffs, and we can't afford to slip up and not beat any of these teams that we should beat. You know, we kind of got to go into this stretch of games and win out for the most part. There's a possibility. I always said my floor was 10-7. I still stick with that. But there is a possibility we can go 11-6 with the teams that we play, coming up. And as long as we continue to run that rock the way we've been running it, it'd be hard for a lot of teams to stop us. We've already went through the top three, two of the top three run stopping defenses, and still came out those games with a win. So as long as we do what we have to do and take care of our business and don't turn over the ball, I think that we got this game. And I got the Eagles winning 35-14.
35-14. Sheesh. And they only put up 14 though. That's why you disrespecting y'all like that.
I wouldn't rule it out. I mean, I feel like if that was actually going to be the score, the last touchdown would be scored with like 2 seconds to go in garbage time. So,
I mean, this is a divisional game though, man. These Jones always go either way, man. So it's like it's a possibility they could blow us out too. It's like,
yeah,
I mean,
a possibility.
We'll come up there balling. It's a possibility they could blow us out too. So hopefully my Eagles. I mean, we stick to the script, and I mean, these kind of games scare me, bro. I'm not even gonna lie, because it's just like when teams like the Eagles rising, the Giants. I mean, I ain't gonna say they falling, but they've been losing a lot of close games and stuff. So it's like you never know. Then the new offensive coordinator, they probably come out here on some like gangbusters, man. Jump on us early, force Jalen Hurts to throw the football. How many of us could actually say we comfortable with that? It could go either way, but I'm still taking my Birds to win. But yeah, man, I appreciate y'all for doing this with us, man. It's been a great time up here. I mean, before we get out of here, just let everybody know where they can find y'all at. I mean, hopefully, game 2 we could do this again if y'all down for it.
Sure. But yeah, you can find me on YouTube and Twitter. My channel's Football Talk with Benny. Twitter is @FBT_Benny. And yeah, I just post Giants and NFL content, but that's really it for me.
Yeah, find me on YouTube, Big Blue in the Bronx. Tomorrow, I will actually be live at 2:30 with JC Eagles Talk. We're going to do a little bit of a preview like we did on here. Sunday, obviously nothing, because I will actually be at the game myself, hopefully. It's not a miserable game and rather a close game. One thing I will try to do and try to unite the two fan bases is that I will try to start a Cowboys suck chant, so at least we would be in unison.
Yeah, you need that. Definitely need that.
Yeah.
You going live from the game? Are you gonna be live streaming?
I don't. Maybe like an Instagram live, maybe just for like a few minutes or something like that. But it's definitely a possibility. But I would also want to capture the moment, so I'll probably make that decision on game day. Right. But other than that, I just thank you guys for having me on. We had a really fun discussion, despite our fan bases really not liking each other, our teams not liking each other. It was a fun time.
Yeah.
You know, it's crazy. I don't even dislike the Giants. It's like when y'all not playing us, I don't hate y'all. The only thing I really hate is the Cowboys, man. And it's not even the Cowboys. I hate the Cowboys fans. Like, 26 years of mediocre football, and y'all still screaming we going to the Super Bowl every year, bro. It's just irritating. Like, it's irritating as hell.
Something we can't agree on. I always say that to a lot of people, because I know a lot of Eagles fans and a lot of Eagles streamers and YouTubers, and I was like, okay, at least we can hate on the Cowboys because they always say they're gonna make it to the Super Bowl. Always, every single year, like they find a way. I don't know.
Yeah, man, they're annoying as hell. So every time y'all play for them, I'll be rooting for y'all. I mean, every time y'all play them, I'll be rooting for y'all. Football team. Every time the football team play them, I just want the Cowboys to lose every week. So
Yeah.
I mean, at least that's something we can agree on. We all hate the Cowboys, man.
Yeah,
And
it was nice watching
whenever
them
y'all
lose
not
on.
playing us, I'd rather y'all win, or like I hope y'all do good. Like I don't got no dislike towards the Giants. Like, it's just I hate Cowboys fans, man, with a passion. But yeah, I mean, it's been a great stream, man. My man BIRDGANG been in and out of this thing, man. His internet messing up. But we gonna go
My
ahead.
internet is trash right now.
Well, take us out of here, BIRDGANG. Why you still could talk? Take us out of here.
All right, yeah. Thank you guys for coming on. Like I said, I would love to do round 2 with you guys. Next Giants game, that'll be what's up. Good luck this week. You know what I'm saying? Hope you guys have a great weekend and good luck to your team. Like you said, any given Sunday, like you guys can come in there and beat our butts. We can come in there and beat you guys' butts. But we're all NFC East family, and as long as no one's talking outside of our family, of course, us big brothers gonna.
Oh, no.
All right, we're gonna go ahead and get out of here. It's your boy One Trey Rock. We reporting live from the BRDGANG Nation Sports Media. We out of here. Peace.
Peace.